us the secret to cooking fish with a perfectly crispy skin. Welcome back, our good friend, Chef Rick Moonen. Welcome back, Chef.
Thanks, Deb.
Great to have you. We
the best.
always eat so well when you're here. I know, Cam, you're going to love this. Orly, Cammy, you guys dig in.
Ready.
So you love cooking fresh red snapper. This is one of your favorite fish to cook. Why is that?
I spent a lot of time in Florida, and I just fell in love with Gulf Wild red snapper, real
so
red snapper.
Beautiful.
Yeah, I mean it's got a distinctive, sweet, mild, nutty flavor. You know, that's got a really high in protein, low in fat, and it just has such versatility. And when you can crisp that skin up, it's absolutely delicious.
Well, that's the key, crisping the skin up. And you have some secrets of how we can get that perfectly crisp skin. What do we do?
Well, you're not going to get crispiness if it's wet because it steams.
Okay.
So you want to dry it out. So yesterday what I did is I put the skin side down on an absorbent, culinary paper. It's clean. And then you take it on, you put it on a cooling rack and put it in the refrigerator and just let the air dry it so it gets a little tacky. And that's perfect setup for getting a crispy skin.
So overnight you want to dry it out.
That's right.
And you want it to feel a little bit sticky.
Yeah, a little bit. That's right.
Okay, now you also had another tip if you want to get real fancy chef-like.
Well, yeah, I mean, you could, if you want to be super chefy, you dip it in a little salt solution called a brine, and then you do the drying process. And that little bit of salt residual on the outside will concentrate the flavors a little bit more and firm up the flesh.
Suck out all the moisture so to make it even crispier.
That's right.
All right, so now we prepare it to put it on our griddle.
Yeah, you have to season it.
What are you doing? That's
so
butter?
A little bit of butter and some salt and pepper.
Okay.
Super simple. Just basic, is what I'm trying to say. Now, this is the important side. This is the money side. So you want to get really generous.
And you know what? I think a lot of people are afraid of cooking fish in their house so it doesn't smell fishy. But for some reason, red snapper doesn't really smell that fishy, does it?
No, it smells like dinner.
It smells delicious is what it smells like.
That's right. I think so, too. And so we just get it nice and crisp, nice and lubricated with the oil and seasoned. Then we put it into a hot pan.
I'm so happy you're doing with this butter and not olive oil.
So I have some, butter has got a natural affinity for fish. That nuttiness, again, you're accentuating the nuttiness of it. Everything in this dish has got some real earthy tones. So it goes great with red wine. You can have Pinot Noir with this.
Oh, so it's like having a steak
Can I
almost.
ask, when you first put the fish down just a minute ago, I saw you kind of pressing down the center right when you put it on.
Yes, because you want to make...
What does that do?
Well, the fish naturally kind of puffs up.
Oh, pulls away from the pan.
So you just want to hold it down to stay until you set the skin. Basically, you're starting to get it crispy.
Yeah, because you want to put that
flat.
hollowness, if not, I guess, right?
You want the skin to be touching the pan the entire cooking process, really. That's why we baste the top of it.
So you keep it skin side down the whole time.
Yep.
And that's how you
You just flip it over at the very end. And you get
Okay.
one of these little big spoons, and what you do is you just start to baste the top of the fish with it. So you see those little pieces that'll stick to it? That's just the brown bits of the butter. You use a lot of butter, but you don't eat the butter because it's just the brown bits that stick to it. That's the nuttiness,
And Chef, you put nothing else in there. No garlic, no herbs, nothing.
No, those flavors, that profile comes when we do the garnishes.
Okay, now tell me about those beautiful green beans and mushrooms.
Okay, so it's haricot vert green beans with some shiitake mushrooms, shallots, garlic, olive oil, and a little bit of some tomatoes for color.
And how quickly do these come together?
Well, this comes together right away. You blanch the green beans ahead of time. You saute the mushrooms. You just toss everything else together, and boom, you got your garnish. So,
and your chive mashed potatoes.
These are my chive whipped mashed potatoes. So
your famous chive whipped mashed potatoes.
These are potatoes that I put a little bit less butter in it than I normally would because I finished it off with some chive oil. Now that sounds chefy, I know.
Very chefy. How do you make chive oil?
It's just real simple. It's just grapeseed oil, scallions and chives. And so that adds a light green hue to it. St. Patrick's Day. Hello, how you doing? Top of the morning to you.
Perfect. Besides the chive oil, do you have any tips to keeping the mashed potatoes from getting almost gummy or dry? Because sometimes when I'm making everything else, especially around Thanksgiving, the mashed potatoes can get dry. And I find myself going, oh no, they were so great about 20 minutes ago.
The reason mashed potatoes taste better in restaurants is because we're not afraid to use butter. Sometimes I almost say it's butter bound together by potatoes. Really, really, really.
And that's when they taste really good.
So now what you're doing, you know what a chicharron is? That's crispy pork.
Oh,
that's what you're kind of doing. You see the sides here just kind of browning nicely? That's all good. And you can see that it's cooking through, so it's still a little bit, you can tell that the fish isn't quite cooked through yet. It's pink.
So how do you know when to flip it?
Right.
You just asked the same thing, Deb.
How long
Well,
does it take? How do you know?
Well, you can always peek. You can always look underneath, but that's not necessary.
Show us. No? Okay.
I will. I'll show you. I'll show
Show us how to do this at home.
All right. Here we go. You take this and just put a nice little garnish on the side. Get
Those are
your
so great.
mushrooms. This is again earth, earth, earth.
And the key
coming
to
from the ocean.
to these haricots verts or the green beans is to make sure they still have a crunch, right?
Yes, exactly. Okay, so this is starting to smoke, which
Let's
is
see.
it's getting smoky. Let's give it the last second. Now, what I'll do is briefly, just for a
Yeah,
second,
hold on,
just
wait,
flip,
let the camera see it.
all right,
How do we
just
see?
flip it over.
Oh, that's
my
it.
God.
Flip it over. All right, and now, as it sits there, the air, cool air is coming down on the skin, and that's when it gets crispy. Right now, you can feel that. Feel
Oh,
over
it's
here.
crispy.
See the blistering? So now I just shut it right off, let it just glide. Meanwhile,
You're going to dress the plate.
I'll put a little bit of our truffle vinaigrette.
Truffle vinaigrette, what's in that?
Oh, that's got truffle oil, grapeseed oil, garlic, shallots, sherry vinegar. So it's got some good acidity and
just
some
wanna
great
drink
flavor.
Some of the favorite fish I've had in a long
God,
time.
me too.
I am going to go home and I'm going to make
Inhaling
them.
it.
I mean, it's so doable.
You just lean it on top
so
of the
simple.
mashed
It really
potatoes.
So much flavor.
Right? And then we put a little bit of crispy potatoes on top, and voila. This
All
is
right.
this is one of our
Chef,
yes.
You've outdone yourself. Deb, you have a
really
little
have.
taste of this beauty right here. I want to talk to you about Perry's Restaurants. Of course, you are the master development chef
That's
there.
right. Yes, new
I want to
title
make sure I
for
get
me.
that title right. 'Cause that title's
Congratulations.
amazing.
That's a fancy title right
Master
there.
Development Chef.
I have the greatest job in the world.
Steakhouse and Grill.
Greatest
yes.
job in the world. I work
Yeah,
for
no
an
doubt about
amazing group. Perry's Steakhouse and Grill.
You're celebrating a
National-
milestone.
Yes, 40 years.
40 years,
in
man.
that business. They started off as two small butcher shops in southeast Texas, and they've opened up several stores, that to service, the public. It's like tableside carving, flaming desserts, an amazing, mixology program. There's just so much going on.
Is this there?
This is one of the menus.
Then I'm
on-
coming.
Exactly.
Yeah,
right.
that-
No kidding. Rick, thank you so much for being
my
here.
pleasure.
Great to
Thank
see you.
you.
For full recipe, you know where to go. HallmarkChannel.com. Debbie can't even speak. You can connect with Rick as well on his website, everybody. Now, come